What's going on, people? It's your boy Terry the Barber, and I'm here to give you guys the Razor Sharp Podcast promo code for the Hex Pod. So run, don't walk to thehexpod.com. Select your purchases. Go to checkout and put the code RSPC10 to get 10% off your complete purchase. And any orders that's $300 or more gets free shipping. Go to thehexpod.com, put an RSPC10, and save some money with 10% off. You dig? What do you say? How do you say? I'm just glad to see another day. I go by the name of Terry the Barber, and this is Razor Sharp Podcast. Today on a Razor Sharp Podcast Live, we have Ryan Teal. Who is Ryan Teal? Ryan Teal helps hairdressers master cutting with education that actually makes sense. No fluff, just skills. Known as a legendary platform artist as well as an industry icon, he has built his reputation by being outspoken and supporting of the hairdresser community. Award winner, salon and school owner. Name a few of amazing things that Ryan Teal has done in this industry of beauty.
Well, thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate it. And that sounds that intro was a lot nicer than most intros I get, so I appreciate that.
No, thank you, my brother. Thank you for first and foremost, taking the time out to come on Razor Sharp Podcast. You know,
Sure.
Razor Sharp Podcast is a barber beauty lifestyle podcast. So we cater to all professionals in the beauty industry. You are my first male hairstylist, hairdresser to be on
Okay.
the pod. So I just want to thank you for that. In previous episodes, I did have one of my salon suite mates, Miranda. She was my first hairdresser to be on the pod, and she dropped a whole bunch of gems. And I know that you're going to just blaze the scene with so much information. So the first question I have for you is, who is Ryan Teal?
Well, I'm not for everybody. I'm a hairdresser. You know, I licensed hairdresser, barber, um, and you know, I'm more of I would say I'm an educator. I love hairdressers and barbers and everybody in this industry more than anybody. I actually I stopped working behind the chair for about 10 years because I just wanted to hang out with people of our kind. Because I figured, you know, non-hairdressers and non-barbers, they ain't like us, you know, like Kendrick says. Um, so I stopped working. Like, I only wanted to hang out with like hairdressers, barbers, and bartenders. And that's really, I mean, I am, you know, what I do every day. I love what I do. I love what I get to do. And I love who I get to do it for and with, you know. Um, and that's about it. Oh, I'm a Chiefs fan. I mean, I guess that's my.
Okay,
But we kind of
so
crapped the bed this year.
so what got you into hairdressing?
Well, I never really wanted to be a hairdresser. I was a roofer in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, and I was voted most likely to be incarcerated in high school. And I had moved to Portland, Oregon, and I was living out of food boxes and giving blood for beer money for a living. And my girlfriend came home one day and she was like, Ryan, you got to get a job. She was a hairdresser. She's like, Ryan, you got to get a job. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And she's like, no, really, you got to get a job. And I was like, well, why? And she said, you know, she said two words that changed my life forever. She said, we're pregnant. And I was an idiot boy at the time, very young. And instead of thinking about, you know, how my words are going to affect or like what sort of reaction is going to come out of, you know, something I might say, I said, well, you're pregnant. And so after the beating stopped, I was like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I have no dreams. I have no skills. I mean, I was really good at stealing car stereos, you know? And she's like, well, why don't you go to hair school? I'm like, I don't want to go to hair school. You know what they say about male hairdressers? And she's like, what? And I was angry. Like, well, she was angry. So I didn't want to fight with her. So I went to school and I hated every minute of it, you know, and I finally got out. I had a wonderful time. And I've had a wonderful life doing it. Like I've been able to travel the world. I've traveled to every single one of the states. I went second time around, you know, teaching in every state in the country. And I've had a blast doing it, you know.
Okay, so what are some companies that you have worked with?
I've worked for pretty much all of them, and I've been fired from pretty much all of them for usually like shooting my mouth off. I was lucky enough 6 months before graduating from beauty school. Paul Mitchell was getting ready to launch their colors. So that's how old I am. Is back before Paul Mitchell had colors when I went to school, and they were getting ready to launch Paul Mitchell the color. And I don't do any color at all. I just cut hair. And my ex-wife, my wife at the time, but my ex-wife was called by Paul Mitchell to ask them, or they asked her to come back and help them launch Color, and she's like, I would totally love it if you to do that, but you have to hire my husband. So I was lucky enough to go to work for Paul Mitchell back in the '90s, when it was like in full stride, and that was a blast of a time, doing hair shows and working with some amazing people, John and Suzanne Chadwick, a young Robert Cromeans and Steph, and Floyd Kenyatta, and like that was awesome. And I worked with them for about 10 years. I left them and I went to work for a company called Alterna, and I was one of the
Mhm.
artistic directors for Alterna, one of the global artistic directors for Alterna. And then that was probably 2005, maybe 2006. And my daughter was growing up, and I was like, you know what? I kind of think I don't really want to travel so much. I think I just want to focus on, the salon business that I had. I had a school. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to do any more education. And so I quit Alterna, and 2008 rolls around, and I end up winning North American Hairdresser of the Year the first time. And I get a phone call from a little mom and pop hair care company. You might have heard of them. They're small, like really small company. L'Oreal.
They're real small. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a little mom and pop shop. And when they're like, hey, would you like to come and work with us? I was like, well, hell, you guys got a ton of money. I'd love to go work with you.
Uh-huh.
And I worked with them for about 3 years. Had a great time. Um, Left L'Oreal. Then I went to work. I quit working behind the chair. I left Oregon and I quit working behind the chair. And I completely changed up my whole game, and I became a director of education for a hair care company, a little company out of California called J. Beverly Hills. And it was mainly because I wanted to be. There's a guy from Wella uh, that me and him were really good friends, and I just loved that he was a hairdresser that made the transition into corporate life. And I thought, oh, I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not really good at a corporate situation. I mean, I don't do well under fluorescent lighting. I'm not really good with authority. I'm not really good with like people telling me what to do or playing office politics or any of that bullshit. So I left. I had a great time there, and I met some wonderful people, but that wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this whole time I've been working for Hattori Hanzo Scissors. I've worked with them since the beginning. I left them 3 times. Oh, an eagle. Um, I left them 3 times, and every time I've left them, I scorched her. I would call them out and like make fun of them and all that kind of stuff. But I keep coming back, just because they're such a great company, and I love what they do education wise. Um, and then now I work really just with them. I do a lot of independent stuff, and then I'm really lucky to. I got a gig with Babyless last year, and they've afforded me to do like a lot of just independent stuff and work with some of my other friends. And they said that they want to put me on their barbering team a little bit so I can show off that I can cut men's hair as well.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, and then I've done some like one-off work, for some other companies like Davines, and like I said, you name it, I pretty much have done something with them.
Okay. Okay. So as far as being a platform artist and being an educator, what are some things that you don't like about the hair shows?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so first of all, I love hair shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my first love, man. That was when I finally realized how much I loved the hairdressing industry. I was still in beauty school, and I remember I went to it was a little show in Oregon called Shades of Fall, and it wasn't very big. And I remember seeing a dude on the platform, and he was telling jokes and hanging out with hot chicks, and like tossing apples and throwing knives and doing all the things. And I'm like, God, I want to be like that. And that dude was Eric Fisher, actually. I don't know if you know who Eric Fisher is.
Uh-huh.
Great hairdresser. It looks like Gary Oldman. Um, Great guy too, but like ever since then I was like, I want to be just like him. And so like I cut my teeth on great hair shows, like the early like IBS New York and IBS like Las Vegas and Cosmoprof and like the Orlando show, which is huge, and Chicago, which is huge, and they used to have two shows, and then the Long Beach Hair Show, and then the ISSE and the ICE show.
Hmm.
I loved them so much, and still to this day, I think that they can come back. Okay,
Yeah.
so I didn't answer your question. I kind of preface my answer by how much I love shows.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I don't like shows right now because I think the attendance is way down. I don't think that a younger generation of hairdressers know that shows are awesome. I
Hmm.
don't think that they know because they haven't been taught to think that it's awesome. I mean, our generation, I'm assuming that you're probably similar in age to me. I don't think you're my age. I'm as old as dirt. Um, but I feel like our generation did a really poor job of mentoring younger people and saying, "Hey, this is what's cool, and you need to do what's cool." And we get kind of, I feel like we got a little gun shy, because they're like, "Well, don't tell me what to do, and don't be gatekeeping, and don't." But in reality, it's like we do need to say, "Hey, you could just go to a hair show, or you could just like watch YouTube and learn how to cut hair, or you could go to a hair show and watch something that's may not show you how to do a haircut, but it's going to inspire you for the rest of your freaking life." Um, I
Absolutely.
remember, I remember one time I went to a show and Vivian McKinder was there, and she had this beautiful wardrobe, and there was hair that was woven in, like there's fabric woven into the hair, and like she was funny and like it was moving, and I remember they were playing "Smack My Bitch Up" by Prodigy, and like it was so moving. I actually cried at the show, and I still have video of it. And it's not about the education in that type of scenario. It's more about the art, and I kind of feel like shows nowadays, because the attendance is down, manufacturers aren't putting money into it. So therefore, we're not seeing as much art because there's not enough money to do the art that was there.
You're right.
And I think that a lot of the shows are like, okay, well, if manufacturers aren't here, then we need to have the social media influencer. We need to have the Instagram or the TikTok famous people. And I do think that those people are very important and very needed in shows, to drive attendance. But it's not the only thing.
You're
I mean,
right.
like you also need to have, you know, the people that can deliver high class education. The DJ Muldoons, the Christopher Benson doing like amazing hair with hair pieces, long hair dressing. I even like seeing like the barber competitions going on there as well. And I think
Mhm.
that if we don't tell these younger people, that they need to go and attend and inspire them to do it, we might end up losing it, and it breaks my heart.
You're right. You're
So
right.
yeah.
The reason why I asked you that is because I travel all around the states, going to these different barber battles and all of these hair shows. I'll be at IBS next in New York,
Uh-huh.
and I see that the barber industry went from a small couple booths to having a bigger platform, and then we're doing our own thing. But still, when we go to these international shows, the barbers attendance and things of that nature just isn't there. And even when I go to these different hair shows, I see that it's starting to dwindle down, and a lot of the sponsors is pulling out, and then you're getting
Yeah.
a lot of more of the mom and pop companies, and then you have the same thing, especially with the barbers. You get a lot of beard products, a lot of oils, and it's starting to be mundane of the same thing over and over. So I can definitely see where you see the complacency in these different
Mhm.
hair shows, and why it's starting to dwindle as far as the attendance. And like you said, the older stylists and barbers definitely wasn't taking the younger generation of beauty professionals under their wing and
Mhm.
trying to cultivate them into something better. And so that's the reason why, one of the reasons why I created Razor Sharp Podcast, is to bridge the gap between the young and the older generations of professionals. I love to hear the voice of the young people, because if nobody's giving them opportunity to voice their gripes, their problems, their issues,
Mhm.
then there's no way for us to solve these problems. So when you saying that, it just resonates, And then a lot of time, I get a lot of conversation as far as the black community of beauty professionals, but it's all over. It's not
Uh,
just one ethnic group. It's as a whole for the industry. So what you saying that what can we do to change things around? I don't think we're too far gone. So what can we do?
um, That's a tough one, and we need to drive. Obviously, we need to drive sales for these shows to even continue going. We need to go and participate ourselves, and we need to bring the good education. But also, my father was an Assembly God pastor, and I'd just say you got to shout it from the rooftops that you when you're in beauty school, or if you go in teach a class at a beauty school. I was just at a beauty school in Oklahoma yesterday, and we talked about hair shows. You got to go if you want to get inspiration. You got to go. You may not get any education. You will, but don't go for just education. You want to go for inspiration, and inspiration is almost as important as education is. We're all education junkies. We also need that inspiration a little bit too. Like we're going to the Anaheim show and we're bringing our staff, and one of them, one of them hasn't gone to a hair show in a few years, but she had such a great time, and so now they're so excited, and it's a fun thing. And I wonder if as I was saying that, I wonder if it's kind of a grassroots thing where you know the salon owner or the boss of the shop or whatnot needs to almost inspire and say, hey, let's go as a group. And let's maybe
Hmm.
get shirts or armbands or hats that all signify that it's us, and it's kind of like a gang type scenario, and you all go and have fun, and you know hairdressers and barbers and everybody, I would say, in the hair side of things, not necessarily aesthetics or nails, because that's a whole different group, and I really can't talk to them because I don't like them. Kidding. um but I only know one thing, and I only know hair, and I know men's hair, women's hair, whatever, and we're all kind of the same. And I feel like we're pack animals,
Yes.
and I could take you in my salon, and you'll adapt within an hour. I could go to your shop, and I can adapt to become a part of your crew in an hour. And I
Yeah.
feel like the way we sharpen our saws as people in the hairdressing community is to get together and watch other people do what we do. It's not even necessarily getting the education. It's we get in the same room and we watch this going on. We watch somebody else doing that, and then we sit down and have dinner and we have drinks and we have a good time and cut up and all that kind of stuff. And I think that if we did that as a group in our salons and in our barber shops, I think that could save our industry.
I believe that. The first thing you brought up was about the barber schools and the shop owners. I believe that they need to start motivating their staff and their students to go to these shows.
Hmm.
I'm in Georgia and I'm around at least five barber schools, and majority of the time there's only one or two barber schools that may have their students come out, and they don't push it to that's it's the schools, it's the owners, it's the promoters of these shows. They should be
Hmm.
giving barber students free tickets for students to come in. They should be giving continuing education credit. All of those
Hmm.
things are going to make you want to stop what you're doing on a weekend and come to just enjoy the festivities and take some classes. So I
Hmm.
believe that the first thing is the promoters of these hair shows start giving away more free tickets and start promoting it like we used to do, where it was street teams and going around with
Yeah. Yeah.
tangible tickets. Because what I believe is, if we sending these things out on social media and click the link to do this and that, the majority of the time people wait to the last minute or they
Yeah.
forget about it. But when you already got a tangible ticket in your hand and you paid for it already, you're gonna definitely go because you already obligated yourself to do that. So the promoters need to do way better job. The barber schools
Hmm.
need to do a better job, and when it comes to these shop owners, need to do a better job to say, you know what, we're gonna shut down the shop, the salon on this Sunday, and we're gonna go to this hair show as a group. Everybody gonna have on the same T-shirts because I seen it, and I see barbershops and salons that come together as a group where everybody come together and really have a good time. They all get inspired. They all come back to their shops or they
Mm-hmm.
salons, and they want to give out better quality work, and they just ready to just do the best that they can because they got a new breath of fresh air. And I believe that those are some of the things that's lost over time, especially with social media and due to the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic. And a lot of people really lost the sense of communication when it came to the pandemic. People became antisocial. People
Mm-hmm.
are dealing with a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression, and they just want to stay to themselves. And we have to be able to, chisel away from all of those imperfections to bring more people into the industry that love what it caters to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I also feel like there needs to be a little bit of an ego death with a lot of us as well. You know,
Explain.
like I feel like the individuals, not just the salon owners and not just the school owners, but also the people that are going, the individual participants have to be able to say, hey, you know what? I don't know everything.
Mm,
I don't know, you know, or even if I do know a lot, I still just need to go just to go. I mean, that's important too. And if you have all this ego and you can't learn, you're like, oh, I'm all about education. I'm all about education. I'm all about education. But something always comes up on Sunday. Bullshit. You're not about education,
mm-hmm.
and like I teach full time. So I'm on the road um just about every weekend, and I teach about anywhere from 6 to 10 classes a weekend. And
Wow.
you'd be surprised at how few people show up to free education,
I I
you know?
know. I know.
And it's straight up stupid, and it's because these people something always comes up. Well, if you had a better priorities, something wouldn't come up, you know?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep. Because I schedule out, I've been making it my duty to schedule out all these different hair shows. There's a hair show almost every single week now,
Hmm.
and I'm making it a priority to go to the ones that I haven't been to, like going to or to going to the to premiere in Orlando,
Hmm.
going to the one in Chicago because I go to all the different barber expos. But now it's time for me to really broaden my horizon when it comes to the beauty perspective
Hmm. Hmm.
and learn things that I really didn't pay attention to when I was in barber school.
Hmm.
Or they would just go quickly through that paragraph because it wasn't really that much important to us, like pardon and
Hmm.
shear work a lot, and just doing graduated blends and things of that
Hmm.
nature.
Hmm.
And when I watch your videos, I'm I'm learning the things that we brushed over, but now I get to really get a better understanding because somebody's explaining it to me the way that I need to learn.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, totally.
and what made you want to put out so much content, being who you are, being so raw and rugged, and coming up with these humorous jokes like one of the jokes that always gets me every time I see it is the line you say JFK mind blown. That's like every time I watch that video, like I watched it for the first time. But it's so how do you keep those things like that? Like just how do you come up with these with the content and
Well,
the way you present?
it's funny because I don't love my content. I don't love it. I know that I need to put content out there because that's the way things are.
Hmm.
You have to be on social media. Okay, great. So I do that. Um, and I was trying to put out content that everybody else was doing for the longest time. Like, put out end results and put out like, the end of a haircut. So like you can see the finished product and blah, 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 blah. And then I came to the realization that I'm not here for customers. Like, I don't need clients. I don't want clients. I don't really want to work behind the chair. I still do one day a week, but that's not my customer. My customer is you. My customer is the hairdresser or the barber. And so I started changing my content up in that, like, and people ask me all the time, can you put up an end result? No,
Mm,
because it's not about what I've done. It's about what I can help you do.
I like that.
And I don't like I have a bunch of great stuff. I have stuff that like my old Nahas, my old North American Hairdresser of the Year shit, and I'll put that up every once in a while, but really it's all about my classes and those little nuggets that you can get out of my class. So I was actually in Oklahoma with my buddy teaching classes this week, and I told him how much I hate my content. And he's like, he's like, your content's the funniest out there, because
Yeah.
it's a giant middle finger to everybody else that produces content. Because he's like, it's low budget. He's like, you literally put your phone on a tripod and you just cut snippets out of your class, you know. So and that's actually true, and it is actually like a giant middle finger. I never really thought of it that way, um, because like I was talking to my wife a second ago, and like people always want to build content and they want to create something and do a funny little like reel or a funny little TikTok
Yep.
and it's all like scripted. I can't do scripted. That's not me, man. I'd like and I just show like what I do and the way I teach a class. So I'm extremely dyslexic. I'm extremely ADD, and I'm old school ADD before they put the H in it. And like I was in like the special class during reading time in elementary school. So that's how bad I am. And so when I teach to that. I teach to somebody like me, and I figure if I teach to that, then everybody will be able to get it. And I learned early on in my career that learning is so tough. And if you're not laughing is one of the best tools, for education because it
Hmm.
keeps you engaged. And so what I was taught by one of my mentors who taught me how to teach is, you wrap everything up into a punchline. So if you remember the punchline or you remember the end of that joke, you'll get the technique or you'll get the bullet point that I'm trying to show you. So, for instance,
Hmm.
that one about the John F. Kennedy. That's just a mind blown, where your mind is blown. Like, oh, John F. Kennedy, or Kurt Cobain. Mind blown. Um,
Hmm.
so that just anchors that one little piece of information that I'm wanting you to take home. And you wake
Yes.
up one day in the middle of the night, and you're like, but John F. Kennedy. That's kind of like that technique that Ryan showed me, right? So that's kind of where it all comes from.
Absolutely. So what made me gravitate towards you was I was flipping through Instagram and you came up, right?
Uh,
And the first thing that came to mind was, oh, is another barber doing a hair class at one of those shops like Great Clips or something, right?
uh,
And then when I hear you talking, I'm like, oh, he's not a barber, he's a real hairdresser. But because I have a brother by the name of Danny the Success Addict. He's with Andis and he goes around
uh,
to sport clips and great clips
uh,
and does a lot of clipper cutting education. And I was like, you remind me of a little bit of Danny the Success Addict and another barber by the name of Ivan Zook that does a lot of
oh yeah, Ivan.
education.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, this guy is bringing content and he's something that I need to follow. And then I was watching. And while I'm watching, I'm learning. I said, yo, he's great, and I gotta let everybody know about him because if I can get something from it, I know everybody else that I'm affiliated with can get it from it. But the first thing that caught me was here's a guy teaching women about hair, and he's humorous. And he's not the norm. Like normally, when you see a hairdresser, they got long flowing hair. They don't have a beard. They're not bald. They don't got a whole bunch of tattoos. So it was a whole. It just caught me off guard, right? Do you get it that a lot of people are more um open to your teaching than you would think?
I think that I scare a lot of people when I walk into their salon.
Okay.
I don't think that unless they see me on social media, I think a lot of times people don't think I'm there to teach the class. I think that they think that I'm there to sell them meth. Um, and then, so once I break that down where, I'm not intimidating. I'm not super flashy. I'm not here to show you all and talk about myself. Like my intro in classes now, I pretty much like I don't even talk about myself at all in class anymore. Like I don't care, and you don't care either, really, right? Nobody really wants to hear my story. That's lame. And it's
Mhm.
funny because I was like back. I'll come back to that question in a second. But I was talking to my buddy this last weekend. We were talking about how a lot of hairdressers and barbers they sit and talk about themselves like 20, 30 minutes before they even get into the class. My
Yep.
whole thought is, you need to save that content and that information, for your legacy. So when you're at the end of your life, when you're telling your story or you're writing your autobiography, you still got to have some surprises to tell them. And if you tell them all now, well, you've already blown your wad. You might as well, just pack it in and just die now.
Yeah.
So, like, I try to be as real as I possibly can. And when I teach, I'm not the kind of guy that, like, this is what you need to do, or this is what you have to do, or this is the only right way. My thing is, I know you're probably pretty good. What can I do to make you better? What can I do to help you? Maybe teach you a little something. But I'm not here to change everything you do because, you're good, I'm good, we're all good. I mean, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think that because of that perspective, it's allowed me to really go into almost any salon, no matter how I dress, no matter how I look, no matter how, and it just, like, it almost becomes disarming. Even though I'm a very big, intimidating guy, I got big shoulders and big arms, and I don't look like I cut hair, like you said. I think that once I start talking and I can get in with you within 5 minutes, I know that I'm in with a class. I think my whole look and my whole demeanor becomes more disarming than anything.
That's
I get a lot
amazing.
of people. I get a lot of people, though, like a lot of gay men that hit on me, because they say that I look like a big bear, and like I
Okay.
take that as a compliment. That, yeah, awesome, thank you. Not my game, but my wife thinks it's the funniest thing on earth. She's like, yeah, you are a big bear.
That's funny. So, do you get invited to do education for barbers?
I do actually. I went to a great barber shop in Tulsa, in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, on Monday night, and it was a little class. It was a great salon, or a great barber shop. But there are only like maybe 5 people in the class. We did a long haired cut though, which
Mhm.
I even told them, I'm like, we can do a men's cut. We can do a mannequin if you want. They're like, no, we want to see a long haired cut. And so I did a long hair cut for them, a lot of layers. But the whole time I'm cutting it, I'm trying to translate it into what a barber would need as well.
Mhm.
You're watching layers. You're probably never going to cut layers, but I'm talking about what layers do and what layers do on short hair, medium hair, and long hair. I'm
Mhm.
talking about what the scissors do on, and how they can help you and how they can speed you up. Um, and we had a great time. This salon was a blast, and like they've kept in contact, or the shop was a blast. We kept in contact, and yeah. So I go to barber shops and schools all the time. I don't really look at hair as like a gender thing anymore. I mean, it's like I'm kind of a barber and a hairdresser. I cut men or women's hair.
Mhm.
I also don't look at it by race. Hair straight, wavy, curly, kinky, and that's about it. But I was taught really well that, like, not to be afraid of any one ethnicity of hair. And I don't look at it as an ethnicity of hair. I just think of it as, it's just hair. If you know
Mhm.
how to cut hair, you can cut hair. If you don't know how to cut hair, you're going to be afraid of long hair, short hair, medium hair, white hair, black hair, Chinese hair, Asian hair, Indian hair, whatever it is. I just I don't think it's a race thing anymore. I don't think it should be a race thing. It never really should be. I don't think that kind of came around a little bit later in time.
Absolutely. So, since we talking about barbering, I have a section of the episode that's called Barber Questions. It's five
Uh,
rapid questions, and
sure.
I want to get your perspective on it. Okay, so it's going to be
Okay,
a
cool.
question, and then a quick response, and then we'll go through the five. All right.
Okay, cool, cool.
So the first question I got for you is, what's your top five clipper companies?
Oh, okay. So Andis Wall, Babyless, probably top of my list right now. IRL, that's, and then
JRL.
JRL. Thank you. And
Okay,
then
cool.
there's one called Coco.
Coco. Okay.
And I just love the artistic director for that company. I love their tools as well.
Okay. Okay. Great. Second question I got for you is being licensed important and why?
Is it important and why?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think it's as important as the state says it is, but I do think it is important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think it's as important because we were the first people to get shut down during the quarantine, and we have more education than the person that works at McDonald's, and they can kill you. We can't do anything that can kill you, right? So I think that it is important. I think that our states need to have more trust in us.
Okay, okay. My third question for you is: does being on social media convert into new clientele?
Yes.
How?
Um, you need to do it constantly, and if you're always constantly out there, you're going to get business from that, and it's going to Jake Kahn, a buddy of mine, Jacob Kahn, says, you know, a great hairdresser that's not busy isn't. It's not that he's busy. He's not. It's not that he's not busy because he's not good. It's he's not busy because nobody knows his work at all because he doesn't see it on social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's something that I definitely believe. Fourth question I got for you is: where do you see the industry in 5 years?
Um, I'm always hopeful for the industry. I'm always hopeful for these younger hairdressers to get on board, and they will. We always talk trash on the younger generations. Like I remember talking trash on the millennials. I remember talking trash on Generation Z and then Generation Y, and people talk trash on my generation. I think they're going to hop on board. So I think that when they hop on board, they're going to bring something new. They're going to bring a new way of looking at things, not just as in hair cutting and color and all that kind of stuff, but how to treat your client and how to treat your staff.
Mhm.
That I think might be remarkable. I think that large commission salons are going to be big, and I think um, suites are going to be big, like smaller suites, or like individual suites. I think the medium range salon um, has the most work to do.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. The fifth question for barber questions is:
yeah.
what kind of hairstylist are you?
Uh, I would say that I am a hairdresser. Meaning, so the way I look at things is you can call yourself a cosmetologist, you can call yourself a barber, you can call yourself a hairdresser, a stylist, you can call yourself a cutter or a colorist and all that kind of stuff. And I think that each one of those means something different.
Mhm.
Um, to me, a hairdresser, when I die, I hope people refer to me as a hairdresser. I hope people say that he was a hairdresser because to me, that's the best compliment you can call any of us in this industry. Because to me, a hairdresser is somebody who doesn't get in their own way when doing the look that they're trying to execute on either that model or that client.
Mhm.
Meaning, they will do everything to make that person look the best they possibly can, and it's not about pounding your chest and showing you how good of a person you are, or how good you are at doing color, how good of that. You actually will do something very little and help that person look great, and not do a whole bunch and make them look stupid. So I'm a
That's amazing.
hairdresser. Yeah.
Okay. So how is it that somebody that went to cosmetology school didn't like not one moment of it, become somebody that's so influential in the beauty industry?
I fell in love with this industry. I fell in love with the people of this industry. And when I say that, I refer to hairdressers all the time, and I refer to cosmetologists all the time. I mean barbers as well. And I fell in love with the people in this industry, and we're all nuts. All of us are nuts. We're crazy
Mhm.
people. We all have flat feet and caved in ankles. We all have like varicose veins in the as a downtown map of Atlanta, Georgia. We all have compressed, L4 and L5 vertebrae, and like our shoulders hurt, at night. We all have, bad credit, a bad attitude, and a little bit of a drinking problem. But that's what makes us awesome, and we're all the same. And it's not even, to me, it's not even about cutting the hair. It's about all of the other people that are in it. And it's
Mhm.
you. It's all of the people that I saw this last week and I saw 2 weekends ago, and the people that I get to meet, and they're my family. And somebody's always told me that, like, friends are God's way of saying sorry about the family.
Mm.
This is the group, though, that it's my family that I've chosen. Like, I love all of you nutty hairdressers and barbers with all of your weird little quirks, and the fact that you got taught this and you'll never admit to being.
Oh man,
And I just
you
want to, like,
froze.
hit hairdressers over the head sometimes. What?
No. You had froze for a quick second.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
um Sometimes I just want to beat them over the head with a hammer, but that's also because I love them so much.
I get
Right?
it.
So
I get it. You know.
that's how I really fell in love with it, is I just love, I love the crazy people in this industry.
So what inspired you to continue to do it for all of these years? Even though you love it, you love the shows and you love the people that you meet. What keeps you going?
Money. I'm kidding. I make a lot of money.
We
No,
need
I'm
the, we
kidding.
need the money though.
No, it's that I get to do what I love, really. And I would do this for free.
Hmm.
You know,
That was gonna be my second question. Now, if you wasn't getting paid to go to these shows and do these classes every week, would you still do it because you love it, or you do it for the money? And you just answered me.
yeah, I do it. I do it because I love it,
That's that's
and
amazing.
I get to get paid.
So you said that you took a step away from cutting behind a chair, but do you still have a clientele?
Yeah, I do. I do. I see. The what?
No, no, go ahead.
Um, you kind of cut off on that one.
Yeah, I said so. Even though you said that you stepped away from the chair, do you still
Uh,
have a clientele?
Yeah, I do. I do. I have quite a big clientele. I only work on Fridays in the salon. I work on Fridays all day, and then I work Saturday mornings to catch an Uber, to get to an airport. Uber doesn't come out to where I live. Like, I live way out in the country. Like, my closest paved road is 2 miles away,
Mm,
and I have about, I don't know, like, quite a bit of acreage out here. So I have to take an Uber from the salon. I can't catch it from the house. Um, and so, yeah, I still do clients on those days, and I see maybe two clients an hour now. It's not as fast as I used to be. I mean, I used to, be able to do, three clients an hour, and I'm just down to like 1 to 2 an hour now.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
And do you wash everybody's hair? Cause that's a big thing now.
I do, very badly. I'm so fucking lazy. I used to be one of the best. I used to be one of the best shampooers in the salon years and years. It's like I used to have a shampoo assistant and a blow dry assistant, and then I got really lazy, and so now, and I don't have any assistants at the moment, and so when I go shampoo, it's like literally my shampooing like lasts like 2.5 minutes, and it's like, yeah, we're done. Nobody really wants me to do it. I mean, my wife is way better at it than I am.
I get it. I get it. So with all that being said, I've done some great research about you online, seen a whole bunch of interviews, watched a lot of your content.
Hmm.
When it's all said and done, what do you want the industry to say about you?
Well, like I said, somebody asked me that question years ago, and I said I either want to leave um, a mark or a giant scar on the industry.
Hmm.
That's what I want my legacy to be. Is that, yeah, I'm not for everybody. I get that. I mean, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm some people's like shot of whiskey. Um, and I want them to. I want people to say that I was a hairdresser first of all, and that, there are people that will say I took a class from him and that was the best class and he taught me so much and that I made more money or I was more successful. I was a better hairdresser, a better barber. I just had fun, or he just inspired me to stay in the industry. And even the people that hop out of the industry that might see me at a hair show or might see me at a class that like weren't able to make it. There was that one guy that came to my beauty school and he made me love hairdressing even though it wasn't for me. Now I respect hairdressers because he showed me that we do deserve respect.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are some shows that we may see you at next?
Well, I'm for sure going to be in at the Anaheim show, the premier Anaheim show in 2 weeks. Um, I am right now negotiating for the Orlando premiere show. I'm doing mainly the premieres. I haven't done the New York in a while, and I haven't done Vegas in a while, and I haven't done Chicago. I love Chicago. That's one of my favorites. I haven't done Chicago in a while. I haven't done Bronner Brothers in a while. God, I would love to do that one. That one was always a blast. Um, and then I'm around the country every weekend. So this weekend I'm supposed to be up in Greenville, North Carolina. In a couple of weeks I'm going to be where am I going to be? I have a big tour thing on my
Mhm.
Instagram. I can't even remember where I'm at.
I
Like I
get
can't
it.
even remember where I was last week.
I get it. So I know you was in Georgia in December. I had a
Mhm.
conflict in my schedule because I was going to try to come out to to um to that class.
Yeah.
How was the turnout? How did how was the response when it came to Georgia?
Oh, it was fantastic. That was one of my favorite classes I've done. It was 6 hours.
Mm.
And me and my really good friend Emily Chen um, did literally 6 hours. We walked on, and I did six clients. Like it was
Wow.
like just seeing me like at the salon all day. It was so much fun. I think that there were maybe 30 people there, and
Wow.
Babyliss sponsored it. And I think they sent like 40 giveaways. So everybody got something, and some people got more than just one thing.
That's
So it
amazing.
was so much fun. You said you're from Georgia. Are you a Falcons fan?
Well, I'm originally from New York, but now I reside in Georgia. But I rip all my New York teams.
Okay, so the Giants next year, man. The
You know that?
Giants next year. I'm a
Yep.
fan next year. Scadaboo coming back with Dart, and
Yes,
then you guys
sir.
got that new coach, man.
So yeah, I've been in Georgia now for 5 years, but
Uh,
I travel back and forth to New York as much as I can. I go to my old
nice,
barber shop. I'm gonna start doing more pop up shops back in New York because a lot of my clients still miss my services. And
sure.
I just love going to different hair shows. Like I said, I'm gonna go to the ones that I've never been to
Hmm.
or the ones that I haven't visited in quite some time. And I'm always just encouraging people to just get up, get out, and meet new people, and
Yeah.
just get inspired. And even if you can't leave your shop, at first I was so standoffish about all these different expos because I feel like I got to go to all of them. I was figuring like, oh, I got to go here, I got to go there. But then I realized that all of these different expos that's going on in all these different states is for those people that never leave their state, that don't never leave their town, and they need something like that to just keep them motivated. So I went from, oh, there's too many expos and I don't like the way it's going, to, oh, I can embrace it now. And I'm happy that barbers that may not leave Kansas City, that may not leave Washington, they have a place to go to now to just stay inspired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
listen, I definitely want to thank you for taking the time out to come on the Razor Sharp podcast. For those people that didn't know who Ryan Till is, I know they're gonna know now. You have an amazing following. You drop a
Thank
whole
you.
bunch of great content, and I know that every single person that you have inspired has taken something from you, and they're just living through that experience. Me just
Thank you.
coming,
Thank you.
seeing you from on social media and the things that I've learned, I'm just more motivated to like pick up more shear techniques and learning more about layering and graduations and feathering and all of those things that I didn't pay attention to when I was in barber school. So I
Good.
just want to
Good.
say thank you from a barber's perspective, learning from somebody else. And you're not the norm, like you
Thank
said.
you.
So
Thank
it's
you.
just great. Do you want to leave us with anything?
Yeah, I would say, again, thank you so much for having me on here. I really do appreciate it. I think that what you're doing is a really great idea. I'd love to come back. Just ask me back whenever. I
Yes, sir.
apologize for not being able to do this yesterday. I say stay away from American Airlines, number one. Um, and then, really, what I would say is next year, go Chiefs.
I hear you, my brother. Listen, man, this your boy Trevor the Barber, Razor Sharp Podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys are following Ryan Teal on Instagram and on TikTok. He dropped a great, amazing content for everybody,
Thank
and I
you.
know there's gonna be something on there for you. So we just want to say thank you, my brother, from me and my squad to you and yours, and we'll see you at one of these shows.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you, my brother. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You dig? Peace.
Barbers, we back at it with another phase of fellowship.
Yeah, right.
We got my dog Tony Banks. We got Radio Shop Podcast with the owner, the iconic E. We got Ray, my supply guy.
Energy, energy, energy.
What's going on, people? It's your boy Terry the Barber, and I'm here to give you guys the Razor Sharp Podcast promo code for the Hex Pod. So run, don't walk to thehexpod.com. Select your purchases, go to checkout, and put the code RSPC10 to get 10% off in complete purchase. And any orders that's $300 or more gets free shipping. Go to thehexpod.com, put an RSPC10, and save some money.